WNOV 860 AM, 106.5 FM. I'm Jim Gray, the Policy Director for Wisconsin Voices, and I'm here with my lovely co-host today.
Hey, I'm Latoya, Director of Organizing and Partnership.
Yeah.
So we on the show today to talk about a lot of things. And I want to give a shout out for just one thing, Joe.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let you take it over.
Oh, for sure.
I want to throw up a prayer for those people that's in California,
Yeah.
in Los Angeles, that really is losing everything. You have I was just reading where one of our historian actresses
Mhm.
I can't say them S words. She passed away in her house at 95.
Oh, man.
The house was engulfed in flames and
Mhm.
she couldn't get out. And I'm just like, man, this is terrible.
It is.
Unexpected. Not a lot of water there, high winds.
Yep.
Very dry air. So that is what is causing the fires to stay rapid. But just wanted to give a shout out to those people that we in Milwaukee here are thinking about you, and you are in our hearts.
Absolutely, absolutely. And those winds were supposed to pick up again today, this morning, and really spread a lot. I saw a new fire that had started. So our thoughts and prayers and everything are with those folks. And if you get a chance and have some extra change or some extra money, I know there's a lot of different organizations out there. The Red Cross is raising money for those folks. So go ahead and dig deep and help those folks out if you can.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely. So we got a great show today. The two of us do.
Yeah.
We got a special guest coming on later on in the show. But right now we're going to dig into a little bit of policy.
Okay.
I guess it is Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
Toya, so we can dip into a little bit of policy. For those of you, we like to keep everyone informed on what's going on, especially with our state legislator, our local elected officials. We wanted to make sure that you all are aware. There's been a lot of talk about this constitutional amendment that's getting ready to appear on the April 1st ballot. It's going to be on the assembly floor today. And this law, what it does is it will enshrine voter ID into our Constitution. It'll require everyone to have a photo ID in order to vote. We all know Wisconsin Voices has come out in opposition of that joint resolution. We definitely don't support any more barriers that go into the voting process. So we want to make that as open of a process as possible so that everyone that's eligible and everyone that can vote has the opportunity to do so. So that's going to, the way that this process works is in order to have something in the Constitution in Wisconsin, it has to go through the legislature twice, through two different legislators. So it passed the last time in the last session, and now it's up for a second time. The Republicans have really pushed this bill through in order to get it on the spring election, to get it on the ballot. You're seeing a lot of grandstanding on issues and on certain positions. There's been some name calling.
Yeah. I'm kind of noticing. Let me ask you something, Joe. Is it really because of the redistricting and in the next elections next year,
some folks would say that
change some seats?
Yeah,
So they're cramming a lot through that they want.
Yeah, so some of the theories out there are that the Republicans are really trying to push forward their agenda now, because once this next election cycle comes, the numbers are not going to be as good as they are now for them, and definitely not as good as they were in the last session. It's going to be a little bit tighter if one of the houses doesn't even flip. It's kind of that rush against the clock to try to get through those agendas as quickly as possible before the tides turn again with those redistricting. We've seen more Democrats in the legislature. We've seen them in the Assembly and the Senate. So anticipate more gains when the next cycle comes up.
Okay. Yep. Well, I'm going to play devil advocate here. What is the big issue about having the
Having a photo
the
ID.
amendment. Yeah, the photo ID amendment
Well,
to the
we
Constitution.
already have the law on the books. I mean, you already have to have a photo ID to vote in the state of Wisconsin. What this does is it's going to enshrine it into our Constitution. So, if there's a future legislator, if maybe things change down the road, it's going to be a lot harder to reverse that law. It's going to
Okay.
be much more difficult. Um, so, yeah, like again, Wisconsin Voices has come out against this,
Okay.
and we want to knock down those
Yeah.
barriers to
That's
voting.
why I said I'm gonna play devil's
Yeah.
advocate because I agree too as well. We already have the law, so why do we need to put it in the Constitution?
Yep.
And also, that is a barrier that some people cannot get that information.
Hmm.
Was not documented right. Some don't wasn't even born here, so it would take them a good $300-400 to actually get a birth certificate in their hometown if they don't have somebody there that
Exactly.
can help them with that process. They would
Yeah.
have to go and
Yeah.
do it.
And
So,
even you think of elderly folks
mhm,
that had maybe was born at home,
mhm,
or maybe where they were, the records had been destroyed years ago for a fire or some other circumstances that makes it more difficult for them to get those
mhm,
documents that they need. So, yeah, a very important piece of legislation. It's ironic that this was the very first thing that the state legislator picked up. In the new session, they thought, we have so many different issues going on throughout Milwaukee, throughout Wisconsin. Um, the rising price of everything, the cost of housing, gun violence, just a whole number of things that the legislator could be working on, but chose to pick up voter ID law instead. And that kind of just shows where the priorities lie. And I think that was some of the questions asked in the committee hearings was,
mhm.
where does those priorities lie if this is the first thing we're going to do when we come back in session?
Right, right. Because that's it's just like I said, you can tell that rush to
Hmm.
add certain things. It was kind of like the Act 10. It's
Yeah.
like the rush to do certain things. And I hope the community would take their time and really consider why is this so important to out of everything that's going on in our communities
Hmm.
nowadays.
Right.
Why is this so important to
Yeah.
get the time, the effort to be put on the floor, to get the bill passed, to get it on
Right.
the ballot. Why is this so much? Why is this so important?
Why is this one so important?
Hmm.
Exactly. That's the question asked by a lot of folks, especially those facing those higher costs at the grocery stores, the higher cost in home prices, and facing childcare cost. Um, maybe those are the things we should focus on instead of this.
Hmm.
This photo voter ID law. By the way, only nine other states
I was going to ask that.
require a photo ID to vote. And most other states require some form of ID, but doesn't require that photo ID. So only nine other states.
And that's what's amazing because it really, all these other states, so you saying their elections are not valid?
Right, right.
Is that what the argument is because they don't have a
Mm-hmm.
photo ID, their elections are not valid.
Right, and
So then Trump ain't our real president.
but
No, I'm just kidding.
some of the solutions offered are really simple. We could fix this problem very easily in just automatic voter registration. When you turn 18 years old, you're automatically registered to vote,
Yeah.
and then you just show up and you're registered. You're ready to go. There's not a bunch of folks out there voting 2 and 3 and 4 times or jumping districts to go vote multiple times. And those folks that have tried that have been caught and
Caught and
prosecuted to the
prosecuted to
fullest
the fullest.
extent of the law. So the systems are in place to catch those things. The systems in place to punish those people that try to defraud the system.
Hmm.
Why do we need to enshrine this into our Constitution? And here's the thing that everybody out there listening is going to have the option or the opportunity to sound in on this issue, to chime in on this issue, come in the spring election when we get a vote for it. Either yes or
Okay.
no. And we do encourage folks to vote no.
That's good. Thank you so much for
Yes, sir.
informing the
Yes,
community
ma'am.
of that. Well, I have to say, do they have anything else up their sleeve?
Well, this has kind of been the prime. I'm sure there are plenty of other things. I know today that the Republicans come out, the Republican, I believe it was the Senate Majority Leader came out and said that there may be a pathway forward for medical marijuana within the state of Wisconsin.
Will they pass that?
But they also said that that we're not going to allow this to be a backdoor for recreational use, which in a lot of other states, my home state, Ohio, it was medical was used for several years before they rolled out the recreational. It's kind of a step up process. So to
Mhm.
kind of say that if you roll it in, it's not gonna, yeah, it's not a backdoor, but it's a stepping stone uh, to doing away with some of those ridiculous laws that really harm people more
Hurt them.
than do good. So
Hmm. That is really true. You can have an argument on both ways on that on marijuana. So some people say it's harmful. Some people say
I
it
think
does the body
the
good.
laws are harmful. The laws
Yeah,
against it, and
yeah,
we definitely have seen it throughout history where
yeah,
minorities, especially, are targeted. It just gives them an excuse. Well, hey, we're going to stop and frisk you because you smell like marijuana.
yeah.
To me, that's not a legitimate reason to stop and frisk somebody or to question them or to consider them suspicious.
Right. That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. So I have to say they are been they have been really busy this last session,
Oh,
huh?
they're kicking it off very very busy. I think we're going to see a lot of stuff rammed through or attempted to be rammed through. The thing
Wow.
is that those swings are a little bit narrower now, so uh, the Republicans don't have a super majority. It's kind of it's not a level playing field, but we're getting there.
Right, with
And
those maps.
and
Those
some of the
maps.
more ridiculous things, I think the moderate Republicans are going to hesitate or balk on jumping after some of those bills. And it only takes a few of those to come over to the one side, and something's either going to be defeated or passed. So it's going to be an interesting session to kind of watch and see how it plays out, what bills are
Yeah.
introduced, and how those votes play out on the floor.
Yeah, because again, when they did pass this legislation,
Mhm.
Governor Evers vetoed it, right?
I'm not sure what.
The first time it was
Yeah,
passed, he
yeah,
vetoed it.
but it's going to go through.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, and it'll still go
through yeah, it's still
onto the ballot for April.
right.
Yeah, actually, the law, the original law, was voted on in 2011. So the photo ID requirement has been on the book since 2011. It
Mhm.
was quickly shot down by the courts, but it's been reinstated. So
Yeah, I know. I'm saying for them to put it in the
right, yep,
Constitution.
yep,
Yeah, he
yep,
vetoed it. So they are trying. They are up there battling back and forth, and
yep.
that's kind of
And us at Wisconsin Voices are going to keep a really close eye on that and make sure that we do what's right for our community and what's right for our partners.
yeah. Thank you so much for keeping a close eye on that.
Absolutely.
Well, we have an amazing guest here, and we're going to introduce our guest that does amazing work in the community. I have nothing but the most utmost
Hmm.
respect for him. I admire him. I work with him any chance I get to do it all anything in the community that he is supporting because he's about real change. And I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hey, my name is Brandon Triggs. I'm with Helping Kids Better Themselves. I'm the executive director. I guess I admire you as well, Toya. You always there to lend a helping hand. Same with you. So,
Yep.
Joe, I appreciate you guys as being one of
Yeah.
the partners. You guys have always came in, with help, welcome me in with open arms, and also came to help out anytime we needed you guys. We do the food pantry every week. You guys come and step up big with other members of the community for us. So, yeah, pretty much it.
All right. So we're gonna take a quick break and then we're gonna come back and let Brandon tell you about his organization and all the amazing work he has done and will be doing in the community. This is Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices, 860 WNOV 106.5 FM. This is WNOVA 60, 106.5 FM. We back here with our partner, and like I said, amazing man, do amazing work in the community, Brandon Triggs. How's it going, Brandon?
Everything's all right. How you
That's
guys doing?
We
Whew,
doing good. We doing
trying to
good.
stay
It's cause
warm.
trying to stay warm. It's cold out here. It's
Ooh,
cold
a
out
cold
here.
one.
I figured that out when I left out this morning. I ain't think it was gonna be that cold.
So let's talk. Let's talk. Cause you do a pantry on Wednesdays. In the summer you do your basketball camp for the kids.
Mhm.
You do a lot of things over in the winter besides just the pantry. You are very active in your community. When they say block captain, you truly love and know everybody in your community, and you don't hold no regard to a person. You don't be like, oh, this is a this, or this is a or they this type of way, or they got this addiction, so man, nobody think about them. You hold everybody in your community with respect and regard, and making sure you look out for everybody in any way you can.
Yeah. I appreciate the acknowledgement, man. But what you saying, block captain, it just made me have to stop for a second and shout out our neighborhood captain, man, who recently passed, man, Derek Pokey Owsley.
Okay.
His funeral this will be on the 17th, man. That's just one of those people in the community that was so influential. Like, I know you all knew Keon and how influential he was, but
Mhm.
him and Pokey went way back also, and they were like, Pokey was that person who mended a lot of fences in the community, brought people around, and like helped people branch out and just connect all over the city, man. So that was a big loss for the Atkinson Park area too.
Okay.
So,
My condolences.
well, yeah.
Mhm.
With that being said, man, like we do the pantry every week, like we said. We do the free basketball camp all summer, every summer. Throughout the winter,
Mhm.
we do a lot of work in the community, just a lot of giveaways. You know, hygiene products to people who need them, who we know in the community who needs them. Stuff for
Mhm.
kids, families. I don't know, you name it. If we can help out,
Mhm.
we can, or we'll find somebody who can help out, or reach out to some another organization in the community or something. But we also do a lot of work with the Milwaukee Promise Keepers.
How's
Just
that going?
Actually, that contract just ended, so we'll see where that'll be going moving forward. But over the years we've been doing work with them for probably about the past maybe 2 years, 2.5 years or so.
Okay.
And that's just like a lot of violence interruption work.
Uh-huh.
Just like you say, knowing so many people in the community when things come up.
Right.
I'm one of those people they might call to say, well, this person and that person may be into whatever situation, and I might be able to reach out to somebody who can
Mhm.
reach out to somebody else to
Right.
bring those two sides together.
Mhm.
Like we do
Right.
a lot of that stuff in the community too, like a lot of that.
And that's really important. People don't know the impact of Promise
Mhm.
Keepers and the work that you do in our community, how important it is. Because what people don't realize is we have a number of gangs. We started out with like 3 or 4 where they were significant and sound. Then we start getting these little street name gangs: 29th Street, 10th Street, 13th Street, Ring Boys, this person, this. And each one of them are also connected to overall, that have overall kingpin gang members in them. And when they get into it, it's that they're blocks away from each other. People don't realize why so much crime in Milwaukee, because they're blocks away from each other. It's
Mhm.
not like you got the East Side boys and then you got the North Side, which is on 55th Street. You got the East Side and the North Side boys right blocks away from each other. I think you would probably say Keith separates them, literally. So going to the store, getting into it, all type of stuff is very easy to come by. So the work that you do is very, very
Mhm.
important in the community. That is very, very important. Um, how
To
did
speak on what you
Yep.
just said, it's like a lot of the crime that takes place in your neighborhood just is gonna come from somewhere, probably generally within your neighborhood, blocks away. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of those new gangs pop up out of that pain base. We call it pain base. Like
Mm-hmm.
somebody just kill one of your friends, and out of that pain, a new gang is born. Like they
Mm-hmm.
all claim they riding for little such and such, or big such and
Mm-hmm.
such, or
You
whoever.
right.
And like a lot of those are formed in, like you say, if you got it, it's you may be into it with somebody 2 blocks down the road. So now they got they gang formed, and when you retaliate, another pain based gang formed, and now the whole neighborhood in turmoil.
Yeah.
And those are the things we try to quell before they blow out of proportion.
And people don't know how important that is. I know they probably listening to us like, really? But that's really true. If
Mm-hmm.
you really care about your community, then you'll be like Brandon.
Right.
You will walk these streets every day. It's cool to stay in the house nice and cozy with your family, but you got to realize when we was growing up, we seen this every day. So we knew that these things, and when they say high crime, you know what the high crime come from, just what he just said.
Hmm.
Those new calls setting out of retaliation for things that happen.
Wow.
Somebody robbed somebody mama
Hmm.
and they ain't know that was such and such mama. Now all them a click and they click saying you ain't gonna do nothing to my friend, and they
Hmm.
friends saying you out of order for what you did to my friend. So
Yeah.
and there you go. That's a new whole rivalry. So um the work that you do is impactful in the community, but also they said that Ashante Hamilton stepped down from violence prevention
Yeah, from the Office of
office of
Community
violence.
Wellness and Safety.
Yeah, that's where y'all
Um,
was sponsored from, right?
yeah, with the Promise Keepers for the
Yeah.
most part, but like I don't know what's going on with that situation. Like I say, he stepped down after that contract ended, so from what I understood, he took a job in the private sector. I don't know much
Okay.
more of the details behind it or not, but as far as Ashanti, he's always been supportive of us as a Promise Keeper group
Yeah.
and HKBT. So I wish him the best, and hopefully, moving forward, if we do move forward, things go as smoothly as it did in the past.
That's why I brought that up. It wasn't to get into his situation, but do you see any promise in the future of where they're going to do with the violence prevention program, the access to those funds to programs like your Promise Keepers and things that really help the community?
From my understanding, the program will be moving forward. I know there's just like any other new program, there'll be a few minor details to tweak, but we're not sure which all groups are moving forward or what teams are moving forward because they were HKBT was a team. Um, Basically, as a we were all a collective unit. We had
Right.
our own individual teams of maybe three, four, five, six people, and then but we
Right.
all move towards the same goal. So we're not all sure who will be back or what. I'm not sure if we'll even be back. I'm open to coming back. Hopefully, I love doing the work. So, hopefully,
I
moving
mean, I
forward.
can honestly say you are a very strong pillar in the community, especially in the Exeter Park area. I grew up over there. And I literally grew up on Richards and Concordia. I walked those streets. My auntie stayed on 17th and Nash right here, and that's where I walk to every day. um, and walk through this neighborhood every day up Atkinson, especially in the summer, and knowing how tedious Atkinson Park was. Me, you, and Keon used to talk about that growing up in the hood, that you could not be in Atkinson Park. Like we stand there and talk like we do now wasn't a good idea. For many lives got lost in that park, you can say it's a good over 20 lives got lost in that park. But we got a
It might
caller
be
on
a
the
little
air. We
more.
want to hear from this caller. Caller, you on the air?
Hello.
Can you turn down your radio, sir?
I will do that.
Thank you.
I was listening to Stanford on the radio the other day, and he was talking about this project he's in to build a community and all of that. And I had a suggestion that needs to get to him. I left him a voicemail. I also wanted this other alderman, I forget his name, and Lady Cox. The idea is they need to have some scattered site trade schools collaborating with all the schools that do this, teach the trades. And we need to get these young men, I say black men, but we can't exclude anybody, into those trades and teach them and pay them while they're learning. And we need to have some real good people to handle it where they can put them out if they want to be a butthole, and we'll give them another chance later on. But we're going to have swift action if they ain't got their nose to the grind. And y'all have a good one. I'll listen to y'all if you want to talk to me.
All right.
All right.
Thank you so much.
He's right,
Yeah.
With an AP News Minute. Could Israel and
That
Hamas
is really
soon agree
true.
to a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip?
That really
No
is
idea
true.
where that came from. But yeah, he's the caller was definitely right.
Yeah.
Trade schools are really, really important. We have a couple of them back in Ohio, and it seems like more and more kids are going to that because the traditional way of going to school is so expensive,
Yeah.
or there's so many hurdles to get to it. It's really simple to go to find something you love to do, that you work with your hands, and you go find a great paying job right out of high school. And some of them, while they're in high school, will get a really good paying job your junior or senior year, can go out and get really good employment. So
in our youth program, that is our 6 week of training, skill versus college, to give kids that knowledge that you don't have to go spend all that money on college. You can actually get a skill trade and make just as much money coming out of learning that skill trade as you would after you go to 4 years worth of college. Oh, all that money, and then finally find a job, hopefully in your field of what you're going to college for. Because if I do if I do a statistics, I can honestly say at least 30 to 40% of people that graduate from with a degree don't go into that field.
You're probably more. And
Yeah.
probably more than that. I mean,
Yeah.
I could give personal references.
Me too. Well,
I
no, I can't, because mine is in information technology.
mine's in
and
English,
networking.
so
Mine in networking.
but
So
but sometimes, and I think that's a great point, that sometimes life pulls you in a different direction. There's something that you had other intentions for, and again, that's why trade schools are really great too. You find something that you love to do, and you can go make a living for the rest of your life off of that. That's going to provide you and your family with financial security for years to come. So yeah, we really need to push that, as well as college, for folks that want to go do that.
That's
even
true.
if we couldn't get to the trade school, what about some certification programs for people? Or how can we bring back some trade programs or shop class in school and the things of that nature?
Yeah, let's start teaching it actually in school again,
And even if they don't, because if you think about it, they're going to say it's too much money, and they already just asked for 250 million, and it got approved, and then the budget wasn't right, and they going to say they're going to need more money to bring those programs.
Our state is sitting on a surplus.
How about start some nonprofit agencies that do the skilled trades in the community with the because if you go back to these same these schools that haven't balanced their budgets, ain't really providing this perspective for these kids. That's why they pretty much took it out. They're not interested in teaching them it anymore, and the kids are really not interested. You got to get them back interested in school. So really, like, putting these programs within the city, like that gentleman said, like he said, put them within the city and say, hey, we got a nursing a CNA license program over here. It's free to you if you go support them and you this age group, and you and we'll contract you out to get some jobs. So that skill trade, that is something much needed.
Absolutely.
And it would change a lot of lives of the community. But we need to get down to that real question. Our kids, y'all age group, seen us grow up, and our parents, and work their butts off. And I see a lot of young men and young women right now today that just don't want to work that regular job. They want their own entrepreneur business, because they feel like they watch their parents go do that 9 to 5 every day, and it didn't get them nowhere. And I talk to and run into a lot of young adults like that their mind is set that they want their own business.
I think that's the culture nowadays, though. Like, you can go work your fingers to the bone, or you can sit back and push a button or two, or or stream.
Or I was gonna say, make a video,
right?
We got a caller on the air. Caller, you on the air?
It's me again.
Yes.
And I want to say that you just got through saying some stuff that I didn't say, but you're to the point. I'm 82 years old, retired teacher. There are many teachers about my age, retired, still owe student loans. That's why we say trade.
Yep.
And I want to tell you a joke that I learned a long time ago. There was this plumber working at this doctor's house, and the doctor they got into how much money to make. And the doctor said, I made about 300,000 when I got through paying my insurance and other stuff. I had about 100. And the plumber told him, I know, I used to be a doctor. Y'all have a
That's
good
a
one.
good. You
Thank you.
too.
That's the
You
truth.
too.
You when I was in school, they really pushed college. And it was either if you didn't go to college, you were never going to be successful at all.
Hmm.
And I watched a lot of my friends go off to college and at 18 and 19 years old are straddled with tens of thousands of dollars worth of debt and then get out of college and realize, no, I'm not making that big money. I got to start at the bottom of the rung just like everybody else. And I'm making my friend over here that's been in his job for 4 years is making more than I am with a college degree.
Yeah. Carby, you had something to say?
Yeah, I was gonna play devil's advocate to what you said. How the new generation basically they just want to be like be their own boss and like start their own business. I would say that to me sounds like a great awakening if you ask me, because you can use that in a good way, because if you can get all like of the new generation to start something of their own, they'll value it more than just a regular 9 to 5.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's
I
very
think a,
true.
I think a lot of where the issue with that comes in is everybody, like you say, Carvey on to something and you on to something too. But if everybody want to start their own thing, we just putting ourselves in competition with each other. Like if you already got the record studio and you booming, and that's what, and I'm in the music, we all need to just get
Work
on with
together.
you.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Work
And
together.
whoever else doing something else to be in their own lane, and we all need to just band
Yeah.
together and ride with them. But if we all trying to have our own studio, our own record label, our own this, our own that,
Mhm.
and we always gonna be competing with each other,
Well, to your
and
point,
along with everybody else in the world.
Crab in the bucket
Yeah.
mentality. It's more of a I don't want to see you get there first. So if we doing the same thing, even if you didn't start at the same time as that person that started, it's that attitude of, well, I want to get there first, which
Mhm.
I see that a lot here in the city. Speaking on the music term, because that's what I really do.
Mhm.
It's been a music producer and traveling and working with Usher and all these other people. When I go to LA and Miami and New York, and you see the work ethic out there with those producers that's there, and now everybody is in one pot and they trying to create music. We all working together, but you come back home and you got producers here that has their own studios and things like that, which is good. But nobody wants to come together and work because it's well, I want to try to make the hottest record because I don't want you to make it, or it's just crazy how I
They
just
ain't
see
got
things
beats
here,
like me, and
and
I
it's been
got
like
this.
this for years.
Yeah.
So I kind of stand back and because it's a lot of stuff that I have done that a lot of people don't know. So you don't see me walking around and saying, "Hey, I got records with Ushers and Ro James and Tank and things like that." You wouldn't know none of this information unless I told you,
Mhm.
because I don't walk around here like that. But this is stuff I
Mhm.
have under my belt.
Right.
So when I come back home, I try to help people hear it and share what I've picked up out there in New York and Miami and LA. Like, hey,
Mhm.
this is how you get done and this is how you get placements with records. But it's the competition spirit that's so high here. So yeah.
Mhm.
That's that competition spirit. I so wish that we can get that spirit out of Milwaukee because
Man.
that's in everything.
That's in
It's in
everything.
Even it,
profits. It's in
Right.
everything. That's why
Right.
everybody in
Yep.
their silos. They work in the same field doing the same type of stuff, but don't work together. And everybody, it's like high school. You pick your friends. Oh, I don't like Joe, so if you my friend,
Mhm.
Brandon, then you ain't gonna mess with Joe. You
Mhm.
mess with Joe, then you ain't my friend. It's like,
Right.
come on, y'all. We too old for this.
like that stuff even
That's hurting our community. Yep. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, you're
man,
right.
that stuff even gotten to just doing the work in the community, man. It's like it's tough when we all supposed to be coming together for the community, but it's other motivations behind that because of personal issues. But if we all
Mhm.
doing it for the community, we should be able to put that beside us, behind us, and work together and come together for the community.
Yeah.
Like, and we see a lot of that, and like a lot of that.
Yeah.
That's why, that's why I always praise you guys for always being there to come, being willing to come work with us, help us out all the time. Whenever we doing something, partnership with the Village Group or whatever, anybody. I need to shout out the Parks Foundation too, man, and the Village Group. They always there for us and got our back, man.
That's
Yeah.
what's up.
Along with
That's what's
Wisconsin
up.
Voices, so
And that's
and
really
West
what
Care,
it's
Travis
about.
at West
Cause
Care.
at Travis and West Care, because that's really what it's about. Um, is being out in the community, helping the entire community.
Hmm.
And I am one person that do not want no silos. I want to work with everybody. If we
Hmm.
could work together, I don't care if I don't like you in the background. With the work we doing don't got nothing to do with our personal feelings. Let's get this done for our community, because our community, the BIPOC community, need healing justice. And healing justice for me is all around justice, period. Whether it's economics, whether it's the food deserts, whether it's violence, whether it's crime prevention, whether it's re-entry, whether it's stop giving our people larger sentences. Healing justice for me is actually a person being able to be whole. Waking up in the morning and don't look in the mirror and be like, if I wasn't black, I probably could be able to do this or do that or do that. And I know people ask those questions all the time, whether you like it or not. That's a feeling in the back of a lot of our heads. Like, I don't hate being black, but I still want to know why me being black harms so many people to where they fight against us to live just a normal life. That's why the biggest fight I'm ever in is in healing justice. Period. Healing justice for me is all around 360. Everything. Everything we talk about. But we got a caller on the air. Caller, you on the air?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm glad that you really need 5 days. They took the Friday from you, so I got to get you on Monday and Tuesday because those 7 days is a long time before I can get you again. But yeah, good morning, Tyrone W. speaking. Mr. Rideout, Mr. Carvey.
Yes, sir.
Yo,
Yes, sir. Brian, Joe,
Yes, sir.
Latoya.
Yes, sir.
The Tamika, and I love and you all are good, good role models too. Because even what Dr. Ward said, but the illustration I wanted to use was, and a lot of the young people just look at you, you're not much older than TLC now, and just think back what happened to them, making the good music and everything, and Pebbles and the man there, what was his name there?
What was it?
L.A.
L.A.
Reid.
Reid.
L.A. Reid.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
L.A. Reid.
don't get arrogant. Don't let your head get
Yeah.
too big to where you misuse the people.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
Agreed.
that's more than crabbing the barrel. That's just being dishonest and misusing the people. If the people make the music and stuff, there, be fair with them
Yeah.
and see to it that they get what they deserve got coming.
Yeah.
And that's sad that other people do that to other people. But and God will fix it to where they'll come up on the short end themselves because
Yep.
the way they did TLC now.
Yep. That's
But
true.
even T-Boz and Chili is still here. Left Eye, she's gone. She's got her angel wings. But the thing is that don't mistreat people when you get in a position to do something. Remember that the angel that's looking over you is bringing you along to be an angel and a guidance to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
You are right.
I did call my friend to see. I guess it's got to be within her own heart to take her phone over there, and I'll go with her. But I told her to, and I told her that the day she showed it to me, that she's got to do that. But yeah, I can't force her hand. But when her heart's
Yeah.
ready to
I
do it,
got you.
I will go with her, and to hope that the young lady is safe then. But I just wanted to share that. So God bless you. Have a great week and a wonderful weekend. And I'll catch you next week on Monday and Tuesday then.
You
All right.
as
Thank you,
well,
sir.
Love you
Tyrone.
all. Thank you. Thank
All
you very
right.
much.
He made some good highlighted points. And what he's talking about is our conversation yesterday where he was telling us a friend of his caught on her video, on her ring bell video of a girl being abducted. Looks like in sex trafficking because it looked like the man had a gun and he was making her get in the car and she was trying to get away. And they were looking for Dana World Patterson, which is for a Foundation for Freedom um, organization, and wanted to reach out to her. And I was telling them the first place you need to reach out is take her phone and that video to the police department. They gonna assign you a detective right then. So, and that's what he was saying, that he was trying to and telling her that he would go with her. And sometimes people don't want to get in because when they get in it, me and Brandon and Joe, you Jermaine, you Kari over there know that people feel like they can be retaliated against. So they be very nervous about,
or just
getting
raised to mind your own business. That's kind of the way I was raised. Is just if it doesn't involve you, just leave it be. But growing now older, and I realize there's people out there that need help, and you need, sometimes you're the only one that's going to be in their purview to actually provide that help. So sometimes we're put in people's paths to make sure that we do the right thing.
Well, just speaking on that, sometimes I do know this for a fact. With certain cases, like we'll say, like with a shooting or a homicide, if a person saw something and come forward to help, what happens is, because this happened to me, once you try to help, then now the police is calling you, trying to subpoena you to come to court, and now your information, your name is in the affidavit. Such and such said this at such and such time. They saw this, so now you are looking over your shoulders because this information is public. So the people that's on trial, it's a piece of paper that's handed to them with all of this information that's in it. So if they convict you and you go to that library and get that report, you see everybody name that was blacked out that's now available for you to see. So this is part of the reason why people don't want to come forward.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
That's true. Because anonymous ain't anonymous when they want to go to court.
When they want a certain person or when they want that information, they don't care nothing about if you safe or not after you help them, because you still got to live your life though. You still got to go around here. So now the people that done whatever crime they done, they know. Oh, such snitching.
Right.
So now you got to worry about that dynamic.
Oh man, you know that lady in the fourth house from my mama house with that yellow
she was the one.
She was the one told, man.
So you can't get no help from them until after they done did something to you. It's too late.
Right.
And then I've heard the officer tell me out of his mouth, our job is not to stop the crime, it's to solve it.
Solve it, yeah.
So what? Like if I'm calling you because some stuff is happening, you gonna wait until after it's done? Or after I do something to protect myself, so now I got to go sit for 72 hours?
So it's two of us that's been told that. So I'm sure it's been a lot of other people because they actually called. I called 911, and some people was getting into it. They were arguing. Family member and her boyfriend, and she ran and got a knife in the kitchen. But they was just arguing at that point. She hadn't touched him, he hadn't touched her, but they was getting edgy and in each other's face. I called 911. Said I need some help. They about to fight over here though. Said did they fight? Did anybody hit anybody? I said no, not yet. But they study getting in each other's face. She got a knife in her hand. He telling her he gonna break her face. I prefer for an officer to come and break this up. Right. He said no officer can come out there until a crime has been committed. If a person has not assaulted someone, she has not stabbed him or assaulted him, he has not hit her or stabbed her, assaulted her, we cannot come out there for an argument, man.
That's because they really
I'd have called back with a wellness check or something then.
Well, and
that came out for
they
wellness
really
check.
Don't care, man. They really don't. But they really don't care.
I didn't even know to make them do that, Brandon. To call for a wellness check.
Yeah.
But
back and I ain't seen
I'll play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
I'll play devil's advocate just for 1 second. There's been a deficit of Milwaukee police officers for several years now, where they've been trying. They're doing everything they can to entice for more police officers to come. When you have so many calls in one day of more serious calls, stabbings, violent domestic outbreaks, thefts, burglaries, robberies, those calls take precedent.
Yeah.
And so a small argument over here is going to get put completely on the back burner so that they can handle these more important calls. The answer would be more police officers on the street so that they can answer to these calls.
Or either have like in New York, they have auxiliary cops.
Yeah.
Where they actually go to those
Yep.
type of crimes.
Yeah.
Though, well, it's not a crime, but those type of
Situations, yeah.
where it's an argument that can escalate, that they can de-escalate
Correct.
before it get to be a crime. So you just got to start thinking of more
Or they can
opportunities.
call somebody that's ingrained in the community, like helping kids better
Exactly.
themselves, and they might be able to go diffuse the situation if they can't
Right.
get there.
Right.
Right. See, that's I'm glad you said that, Brandon, because that's what your organization is all about. That's literally what your organization is about. You've always been that promise keeper, that violence prevention, work with everybody in the community on a real basis. I'm not just going to accept you being doing these things in the community. We owe each other better. We owe our kids better. So that's something that people need to learn, is how do we get involved with those organizations like yours that can call somebody and say, hey, you may not know them people, Brandon, but hey, these two people arguing, they getting close to fighting. I'm trying to break them up, but they not listening to me. Who can I call and say, hey, can y'all help? Because that's what I didn't think the violence prevention program was going to be about domestic situations like I use there for the female and the male. I'm talking about period. Female and male. I see two kids riling up where they look like they finna get into it, and they live in the neighborhood. It's violence prevention. I just feel like you hold a great role model on violence prevention, and I feel like your motto should be more exemplified.
Yeah, and I just want to piggyback off of that, because having someone like you in the community over in the area, so when something break off and it's a familiar face that's there that can help calm the situation, and it's you and your team, it's a much different outcome compared to the boys in blue showing up, because one, they already don't like the boys in blue.
Right.
That's one. And then two, when they show up so disrespectful. They talking to people crazy. You over there and no. Do you need somebody, one that's familiar with that area? Because then though you can go in and be like, because you might know them personally. You might know them on first name basis. So you can say, hey Joe, hey man, chill out, man. Do you tripping? Oh man, Joe. So now he's starting to come back to himself because you've built a relationship with this person.
Right.
So a person is not going to respect nothing you say if they don't have a relationship with you.
Right.
But if I got a relationship with you and I see you out clowning and I'm like, Joe, you might for a hot second still be there, but then you're going to snap back because now you're hearing a familiar voice.
Right.
So now you're coming back to yourself. And I think that they should put money into young brothers like you that has these organizations that can start some in the community, that they can give you a brick and mortar spot.
Yeah.
That, hey, if you need information, if you need help, or if you just want to
or if
talk,
you need violence prevention,
just come holler at me.
This is the organization.
There you go. So
Though,
this would help.
Anything. Like we give out, like we got connections to give out feminine products, food, whatever you need in the community. If you need help and we can't provide it, we can probably steer you in the right direction.
And I think that if with some of this money that's coming through the state, if they can some way, somehow sow into these young brothers like that, because then it would help. Because I know for sure, I grew up on Atkinson. I grew up right there on 21st. So I know this area been like the back of my hand.
Right.
And how it is now is not how it was when I was growing up here.
It's actually a lot better.
Well, not really, because when I grew up over here, It was nothing but homeowners. It was, I mean,
Oh yeah,
everybody
on
took
that
care.
side of Atkinson.
Yeah, no,
I'm
no, no,
talking about
all over here because we used to
from
walk from 21st down to that park on 12th and 10th and play ball at Atkinson Park and walk back from there back to the house. There was a church on 13th and Atkinson, Holy Recovery. We used to walk to that church and back with no issues and problems. We used to ride our bikes up down Atkinson, and it was just because everything was friendly. Everybody spoke to each other. So this, like I'm talking about the 80s and 90s. Now times are is different, and you need people that look like us talking to those people that's living in them areas because you can relate to them.
I think the kids running the streets now. Back in the days, the OG was running
Yeah,
things like
real
the
talk.
neighborhood. So now it's like you can't go tell somebody who 14, 15, 16 with 100 shots in their waistline and whatever.
Yep.
Even if you look at him the wrong way, he ready to shoot at least half of 50 of the shots at you just because, and like, you know what I'm saying?
So you got to have that relationship because, like B said, if you got that relationship, you can walk up to that 14-year-old and that 14-year-old would be, hey, B, what's up? Hey, man, listen, man, y'all tripping, man. Oh, man, hey, come on. So now he'll start to take it better from you because he got that relationship. He's willing to listen. Nobody care what you got to say until you show them how much you care.
Yeah.
And even if you can't get to him, you can probably get to somebody who he knows cares about him.
Right.
And they might be able to work it out from there.
Yeah.
So let them know your organization, Brandon, and how they can get involved.
It's helping kids better themselves. It's hkbtt.org. You can just hit us up on there with a message or however, anything. I know, whatever. We do a lot of court order community service, so I know they seem to find our number a lot of times too. So just hit us up on the website and we can take it from there.
Now y'all see he said court ordered community service. So he helps in every way possible to make the community whole. Thank you so much for coming on, telling us about your program, Brandon. We are hoping, we're looking at every ways to we're asking the community to help sponsor Brandon and the work that he do in the community because he does some amazing work in the community at the Atkinson area. So this is Be a Voice with Wisconsin Voices, WNOV 860 AM 106.5 FM. I'm Latoya. We was here with Brandon with helping kids better themselves and my boy Joe over there.
Yes, ma'am.
So we'll see y'all next Monday.
Have a good day.
You're listening to WNOV 860 and W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee.